It was here, in front of this abandoned lot, that one piece of tech remained, an axe, that was a remnant of a time when technology was at its peak. Alright, that's enough music. We don't need any more whistling. This axe knew every strike it would make before it was made. It could chop anything it wanted to. But who would wield this tool of the future? The axe was placed into the thick of a CPU. The axe was placed into the thick of...
Dude, what the hell was that?
What?
What you just did with your voice?
It's a voice actor thing.
Yeah, but why'd you like...
Look, do you want me to do this or not?
No, I want you to do it.
Then what's your problem?
Alright, continue.
No one knew who had placed it there, or how it had got there, or why it was there in the first place. All the people knew was that engraved into the rock of that Dell computer, there was a message. It read, and I quote, "Whoever removes this instrument from the CPU will be deemed worthy and a king." The rumor of the axe embedded within the Dell computer swept across the lands like wildfire across the Serengeti. Suddenly, a man from the north who claimed to be a worthy handler of the axe appeared one day. He walked through the common folk in line, and they parted for him like Moses traversing across the Red Sea. When he approached the axe, he turned to the crowd and made a short but precise speech. It was something about his name and his credentials. He then proceeded to grip the axe. But the man huffed
Stop.
and...
Delete it. Stop shaking your foot. You'll hear this. You'll hear the sound.
He huffed and he puffed, and he made a great deal of himself. The axe began to wiggle. But the man huffed and puffed so profusely that the blood rushed to his head. A rush, if you will, as in head rush. He passed out blank on the spot. His body was lifted away via the common folk. After that whole fiasco, nobody else, self-proclaimed or important for that matter, came to retrieve...
Retrieve. It's pronounced retrieve.
I know. Came to retrieve the axe from the CPU of the Dell computer. Eventually, the crowd started to wear thin and people lost their patience. That was when a man named Gertrude got up in front of the people. He stood atop the rock with the axe embedded within the CPU of the Dell computer. He cleared his throat.
Townsfolk, we must not let this axe in the CPU of this old Dell computer control our lives any longer. We must return back to the way things once were. Who cares about this stupid axe with a mind of its own? We have let an unknown voice control us for far too long. That is why I say we give up on this old thing. After all, what is it good for? Chopping wood? Who's with me?
Less is more.
Well, Gertrude and his inspiring speech must have done the trick, because with that in mind, the small crowd cheered for him. They then dispersed like cockroaches chasing a feeble crumb. This was the mastermind of Gertrude, for Gertrude came back to the spot behind the abandoned Home Depot night and day, and then night again, and day once more, and vehemently went at the axe in the CPU of that Dell computer. Similarly to how a farmer might milk an angry cow.
Stop. Alright, buddy. You did a good job, but I'm gonna take us home. And then, the unthinkable happened. Gertrude lifted the axe from the CPU of the Dell computer. The moral of this story is not that of destiny, as other cornier versions of this story might have gone. The moral of this story is that of cunning and perseverance. As for Gertrude, he wound up with the axe with a mind of its own. And what did he use it for? To chop wood. A lot of wood.